guys, this is Comic Uno and Comic Frontline, and today I'm doing a special video for Indy Stash, the June 2016 comics. I will have physical copies of the July comics and the future comics, and I'm really excited to talk about Indy Stash because I think it was May or April, we actually had like Father Like Daughter issue 1 and 2 available in Indy Stash, and I really enjoy the company and I want to promote it. And also it's a great way to promote creator-owned comics, and so I'm really excited to talk about this and talk about some awesome creator-owned comics. So the way I'm going to do this is kind of go to what I enjoyed the least, not saying that I didn't enjoy these comics, to what I enjoyed the most out of the package. So I'm not going to give like a star rating to them, but I'm going to describe what I liked and disliked. So first comic I'm going to talk about, which is kind of uncategorized, is Grit, because it's published by Short Fuse Media, which is actually, you know, the same company that publishes like Father Like Daughter. So the reason I'm not kind of adding this into this lineup is because I don't want to be biased to the company that publishes my comic. So let's start talking about Grit. Really like the art style for Grit. It is actually a little gritty, but it's not so dark and out of tone for the comic, because it is kind of this superhero comic, which it kind of reminds me of Invincible. That's the best way I could add it to. It seems like he has, I don't want to say it's like this father figure, but it's this other superhero that it looks like there's definitely the superhero community within Grit, and we see a little bit of his past, and actually his past meeting his present in this issue. So I enjoyed the art style. I would say the heads are a different proportion in a way when they were younger, but it worked for the book, and I like that style. So I thought it was a pretty good hook for the first issue and for a superhero comic. So moving on to the next comic, which is Agent Wild. This is issue 1, and I would say I really enjoyed the artwork for this book. I thought it had a really kind of cool looking style. I do have the cover for all these books if you want a little sample of what everything looks like. And this is like this futuristic kind of anime style book. So if you're looking for something like that, this is definitely a comic for you to buy. It's like the spy. It kind of reminds me of like a video game style too. And again, I think the best element of this book was the artwork. The story didn't totally grab me just because this is not a type of thing I'm particularly like, so it just didn't grab me for that. Alright, so moving on to Morose, a hard-boiled hero. So I was pleasantly surprised with this book because I am also not a huge fan of like these gritty kind of books. But I thought the tone of it was very well done. You do have coloring, which I didn't expect for this book. I thought it was going to be black and white. So I like the little hints of light coloring throughout the book. I thought that was really well done. And I like the detective aspect, and you learn a bit about your main character, that he definitely has his flaws, and he's a superhero at the same time, so you think it's just going to be this hard-boiled detective story, but that's why it's called a hard-boiled hero, because it's like the mix of a hard-boiled detective story with him wanting to be a superhero and believing that's also a way for justice. And again, he has his flaws that I don't want to spoil, but I thought it was an interesting book for that. So, my favorite book out of the box, though, again, just kind of not counting Grit because I didn't want to count that in this category, but the book I really enjoyed the most was Spirit's Destiny, issue 1. It is definitely more for, in my vein. It's about a teenage girl. She goes to high school, and it's interesting that it's kind of very similar in my comic in some ways with themes, but her father is a superhero, and she kind of has this memory of her father visiting her, but she doesn't, you know, remember him, and it seems like she has a strained relationship with her mother, and she has her grandma that lives with them. And what I liked the most about this book, though, was kind of definitely the element of diversity and bringing culture into this book. So you see the grandmother's Haitian, so she's speaking Creole, so I thought that was really interesting and something I've never seen in a comic. So I really like that aspect, the aspect of culture. So yeah, I enjoyed it, and it looks like we see our main character get powers in this issue because she goes to this lab with her friends and she gets zapped. But it also seems like she was injected by something from her father when she was younger. Again, we don't know if this was a dream or if this was part of the whole entire thing, but yeah, I enjoyed this book. I liked the art style, and again, I liked the diversity of the book, and it felt like something different, but also something we've seen in what's familiar at the same time. So that is my review for Indy Stash. Again, I will have a review for the July books coming out next month, and I will have the physical copies for that, so I'm really looking forward to it, and I will be reviewing this on Comic Frontline. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Go check out Indy Stash. In the description below, there is a link. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there are links for my comic book, Like Father, Like Daughter, and don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father, Like Daughter. I'll see you guys later. Bye.